Hello everyone, this is Tuhin Banik from Thatware, and today we'll be discussing about sitemaps. Now, one might be wondering what is sitemaps and what is the utilization of sitemaps in the field of search engine optimization, and how to modify a sitemap, how to define a sitemap, and what are the best ways. So today we'll be speak about all those things by which one can really take the most utilization of sitemaps and can provide a redefinition to one's own website, and this can also help in boosting the search engine ranking and also a lot of other parameters as well. So first of all, sitemap is coded on XML language, which stands for extensive markup language, and sitemap is just a file which is coded on XML property and which contains the information about all of the assets of a web page. Now when I mean assets, I mean that the links, the particular URLs, the images, the videos, and in short, a sitemap contains the information about the entire directory or the entire URLs of a particular website. In addition to that, images and videos can also be added to a sitemap. Now the reason for utilizing a sitemap is because sometimes a website can be very large, and due to this you can say web crawlers or Google bots or any kind of spiders can miss out crawling and indexing any useful informations. The second thing is that without the help of sitemap, Google sometimes cannot create a good connection with the particular website, and they can miss out information on what type of URLs are present, what types of assets the website is using, and what types of creatives such as images or videos are being used for that particular campaign. The third most important point is that XML sitemap this really helps SEO experts to make sure that an entire website is free of any kind of rendering issues or crawling issues, because once again there can be n number of factors which can prevent or block the crawling of a particular website. And due to this fact, one of the major thing is that sitemap can really help SEO experts to make sure that the website is indexed properly and the website is crawlable. Now for reducing the crawl errors, sitemap is highly important, and this is one of the most important factor for achieving a good rank on the Google or any other search engines. Now before jumping more to the sitemap, let me tell you that there can be normally 4 types of sitemap. The first one is the normal XML sitemap, which only can contain the URLs of a particular website. The second type is the image sitemap, which can contain the image URLs of a particular website. The third type of sitemap is video sitemaps, which can contain the video links or URLs of a particular website. And last but not the least, there are Google News sitemaps as well, which can contain information regarding feeds or syndication that can help with any kind of syndication, or if any of you are using feeds, then that is applicable. But still, XML, images and videos, these 3 are the most important sitemaps, and for any SEO expert, these 3 are very important for making sure that the site is well crawlable. Now we'll be also discussing few syntax about sitemap on how to make sure that you are using a proper syntax. Now first of all, on every sitemap there is the first protocol is an URL set or location, which means that one needs to define a particular URL on which Google needs to take that into the accumulation or take that into the consideration. So this can be defined in the location or under the URL set, which is within the angular bracket and URL. So this is a simple HTML property that can be defined under the URL set. The second thing is the priority order, which is in decimal, and the minimum is 0.0 to a maximum of 1.0. So 1.0 indicates of higher priority, whereas 0.0 indicates a particular URL which should be having the least or no priority as well. Now the thing is, in often cases, homepage contains the most priority, so that's why it's a common practice to use 1.0 for the homepage, and also for all the secondary navigation pages it's advisable to use 0.9 or 0.95 for the secondary pages. Whereas if you really want to block certain pages, or you do not even want to use some unwanted pages like any category pages or any tags pages, in that case you can either use a 0.0, in which case they would not be crawled at all, or maybe you can use like 0.10 or 0.20, which would be making sure that Google is taking that less prior into the consideration. So this can also help in preserving a lot of crawl budget, which we would be discussing in some other topic. Lastly, there is change frequency and last modified. Now last modified is all about when that particular URL is last modified. This can be dynamically triggered but also can be manually updated, but advisable that this is dynamically updated, as this is in relation with the W3C protocol. The last one, as stated, is last frequency or frequency of modification or frequency mod, which means that and in short, SEOs can only write in angular bracket change frequency, because change frequency is, it really defines like how much is the frequency by which that particular URL should be crawled or accessed by the web crawlers. Now you can put an hour, you can put a day, you can put maybe some month, you can put an year, you can even put never, which means that once that is crawled, the Google bot would never crawl again. So it's advisable to use a maximum of 1 month if you really do not update your site for maybe a month. But if you are a blogger or if you have a highly engaging e-commerce platform where everyday products are being added, in that case you can also put that to maybe few hours, like 3 hours, 4 hours, 1 hours. If that is a new site, this can be shifted as low as 1 hour. So change frequency is all about how much should be the frequency by which there should be a recrawl of the entire sitemap. So this is all about the sitemap. Now we'll be discussing some of the quick takeaways for the SEOs on behalf of the sitemap, like what are the best uses and what can be done. So there are 7 points. The first thing is sitemap should always properly justify the priority order, because that is where there is a real difference. Because like just like I said in this video, like the homepage should have the maximum priority, considering the fact that if that might not be your case, but the important pages should have the best priorities and the unwanted pages should be having the low priorities. Depending upon your niche, like e-commerce, news platform, or maybe a simple brick and mortar shop, you can also make sure that the change frequency protocol is defined as it is. The third thing is the proper location set should be defined, because this is where Google or web crawlers would be actually scanning through your entire properties. Now, couple of DIY techniques is that sitemaps can be easily generated using any plugins if your CMS is WordPress. But if your CMS is not WordPress, then you can use some of the free tools such as Screaming Frog, Spider, or even you can do your manual coding in XML property, or there are tons of applications out there which can help you generate a sitemap, and this can be feeded into, once again, the public HTML or the root directory, followed by example.com/sitemap.xml. Now this is the folder where your sitemap should contain, if that is an XML sitemap. For images sitemap, that can be sitemap_images.xml. For videos, this can be sitemap_videos.xml, or for feeds, that can be sitemap_feeds.xml. Now, in short, the sitemap property should be located on the public folder and should be accessible in public HTML, because you need to make sure that the crawlers are accessible to that, just like the robots.txt, because if crawlers cannot find that, then there might be a problem in crawling the entire sitemap. So this is one of the thing, like these are one of the things which can be like kept in mind while modifying and working on the sitemaps. And once again, few quick tips. First thing, sitemap should not exceed 10,000 URLs at a single time. Second thing, sitemap should not exceed 50 MB in size. The third important thing is sitemap should be free from errors. Now, errors in sitemaps can be identified from Google Search Console, where you can understand how many errors are there, how many actual wordings are there, and that can be fixed by your technical SEO team. And last but not the least, do not forget to submit your sitemap on Google Search Console, because unless you really submit that, there always becomes an hypothesis on when Google can actually crawl your sitemap. So it's always best advisable how many sitemap properties you are having. You can submit that to Google Search Console or GSC in short. So thanks for watching.